Hey, beautiful friends. This is Sarah Blumenfeld with Networking Done Different, an outreach of an invitation to more.com. This is a special series interviewing the service providers and vendors for the Galveston Metaphysical and Healing Fair at the Galveston Convention Center on Saturday, April 6, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm joined by Kaisie Dailey. She is going to be offering human design. And if you've never heard of that, it's very cool. And I'm going to ask her to tell you about it right now. Hey, Kaisie.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be
What's
doing,
human design?
yeah, loaded question, right?
Right?
So human
How much
design,
time do we have?
right? 10-minute long video here. Human design is, I like to call it, it's like astrology, right? But it takes the conscious and unconscious imprint um, of your planetary imprints at the time of your birth and 88 days before you were born, and maps it into the quantum inside of what's called a body graph. And the body graph is the combination of the Hindu chakra system and the Kabbalah tree of life. And it has the I Ching hexagrams mapped inside of those centers. And those I Ching hexagrams get activated by the different planetary imprints, depending on the time of your birth. And that is what shows you what has been active in your design, what's coming out of you, and what is not active, what you're receiving, what you are being conditioned by. And so it just basically shows you what kind of energy you have, how your mind is operating, how your body is operating, and how your soul is communicating through your body, and how your mind is receiving all that. So you can start making decisions from your body and not your mind. Is that short enough?
And why would we want to do that? Why would we want to make decisions from our body?
From your body, right? So the soul, which is your aura, your soul is communicating through your body, and it's guiding you, just like a bird knows where to migrate, right? So our soul is communicating through our body and directing us where we need to be going, I guess you could say, where our what the plans are for this life, right? And so it's some higher knowledge that we don't have access to it with our conscious mind, our human conscious mind. Those are running on two different imprints. So the job of our mind is just to observe our body and to make decisions based off of what our body is telling us. And to be the protectors of our body, and to give ourselves the most love first, and to understand really like how we're taking in the world and how our body is speaking to us. And that's really the point of this, is just so that we're not making decisions with our minds and ignoring our body and creating a lot of chaos and frustration and bitterness, and all the other things in your life. You are in agreement with the mind and body, so that you're having more success and joy and satisfaction and such and such.
Awesome. So at the fair, you'll be offering the basic blueprint that the person holds.
Yeah. So this year, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to, every hour on the hour, I'm going to do a little 10-minute presentation that anybody can watch. That's going to say, like, here's how human design works, and have a little mandala, and everyone can watch that. And if they're interested, then they can do a $2 a minute clarity energetic diagnostic, where I run your chart. I tell you what your aura type is. So there's 4 aura types. I'm going to tell you which one you are, and how your aura functions with other auras, and how to make decisions with that information, which is called your strategy. And then also what your authority is, which is your inner GPS system. So basically, after you've connected with other auras and your body's leading you there, now you have a decision to make on what to do next when some kind of action happens, and that inner GPS tells you. So there's 7 authority types and 4 auras. So I'll tell you which one you are and how to utilize it. And that's the basics. There's like infinite amount of information when it comes to human design.
Right.
But those 3 things, aura type, strategy, and authority, usually get people at least enough to experiment with this information to see if it aligns with them. And if it does, then they can take it forward to the next step of learning more and, getting invested into their experiment that way, if they would like to do that.
Yeah. So when you say you're going to make a presentation, you mean at your table, like people can gather around?
Yes, yeah. So I'll have a little presentation board, and I'm just going to show them how the basics of how it works, just the basically the facts of how all this stuff works. And so that's been a lot of the confusion with human design. I find, or a lot of resistance around it is like it's too complicated and it's too confusing to the mind for it to want to even take the next step of understanding it. So I try to dispel try to dispel the confusion as quickly as possible, so that then you don't have that jump, that hurdle of trying to decide if I actually want to learn about it. So that's the point, is just to have like basically a free presentation. Anybody can listen to how it works. And I'll do that every hour at the top of the hour for 10 minutes. And then I'll move right into readings whenever people want to do that.
Okay. So the only information that people need to provide you is what? Their name and birth date?
Yes, and birth time and birth location. It works just like astrology. So it's going to pull the time of your birth, and then 88 days before you were born, it maps those two different things, and you're ready to go. So
so if someone has had like a lot of astrology readings, why would they want to do this?
Yeah, so astrology, I was in astrology for 30 years before I got into human design. So and it gives you very different information. So astrology is it's definitely has more of the astrology gives you more insight into like how the planets are communicating with each other, right? The aspects of that, and it includes houses, it includes just different information. It's really mapping your mind. It's a mind map. And it's also understanding more information around the other parts of your life, like relationships and that kind of thing. It gives you sort of like a life view of your life. Versus human design is really your energy, how your energy operates. And as this aura and all the differentiated energies that are in there, and how to best operate this particular vehicle, it just gives you, it's really practical information, and it's like just for your body. Versus astrology, I feel like it's more about the relationships and how to make decisions in that way. So they're very complementary. I look at both oftentimes when I'm doing full readings, and gene keys as well. So each one of these different modalities have different informations to add flavor and interest to the way you look at yourself in life. It's just that human design is my preferred modality.
Well, and having had human design sessions with you, actually, and reading the material, I can attest to that there are these very simple things, like you said. I'll show you the 3 basic things and how you work with that, basically to make your life easier, is what I found. If you have that base information, it can really make a big difference.
It really does. Yep, totally. And yeah, I mean, I'm a completely different person than if you were to talk to me like 4 years ago. But like probably blown away by how different, at least I feel like I'm totally different, maybe not so obvious to other people, but when I look at my life pre-human design, and that's pretty much a strong theme, I think, for a lot of people who are really into this knowledge and really get the true value of it. There's like really a lot of stories around, like, I was really desperate. I had no other, their life was like not going well. Because they kept making decisions with their mind, and they didn't understand the connection to their body. And some people have this like automatic connection to that, and their lives are a lot easier. So this information isn't as necessary for them. But for me and for a lot of other people, this is like life-saving information, literally. So
that's awesome. We have like one great story, very short, of somebody who wasn't aware of this material. You told them the basic stuff, and they're like, whoa.
Actually, I have a lot. But well, I have a couple actually, and she came to me at a fair, actually, and She was on the verge of a divorce and she didn't know what she was going to do. They'd been married for 20 years. They had 3 kids and they grew up in high school sweethearts, loved each other, but just felt like they were growing apart. And then, I gave her a reading and she's just like, oh my God, I can see myself and I feel so much better. And I really want him to have a reading too, but we're separated right now, so I can't like tell him that. And so she just like started living her experiment and doing her thing, and he kept watching and learning. And so they started like kind of coming back together. It's kind of like, navigating a little bit, see who are you now? Like, who are you now?
Yeah.
And then he came to me separately for a reading. And now they are like, totally in love. I just saw them in January and they are like, we have read our children's designs and we talk about it at the dinner table and we are just so madly in love now again. And it's just, that's the kind of stuff that like warms my heart. And
right. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So things like that. It just, it's like so simple to be able to understand, but it's so complicated. But once you get it, you get it,
Yeah. Yeah, and as you said earlier, don't get lost in the weeds of how much information is available with it. Just start with the basics.
And that's oftentimes that's all that people may need, actually. That's just that little bit of alignment. And then, but if they're really struggling, a full reading, it's a 2-hour long, thing, and but a good 15-20 minute alignment to understand the basics, and I give it specifically to them. It's not just general information. I like look at the different channels that are activating and things like that to give them real specific information as much as I can. It's all channeling kind of, it's coming through whatever spirit their higher self is telling me what to say, basically. And so I'm coming through and I'm giving them their information and I feel complete. And then if they decide to do a reading later, they can. Otherwise, I just trust that they're going the direction that they're supposed to go. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, how do people connect with you outside the fair?
My website is kaisiedailey.com, and don't look at my thing here because I have 2 ways of spelling my name, and that's another story.
Okay, spell it for us for the website.
Yeah, it's Kaisie Dailey, DAILEY.com. It also, I have humandesignhouston.com, which reroutes to my main website right now, but I'm in the middle of reconfiguring some things, and that's another conversation for the day. But anyway, so main and at my table, I'll have business cards and my website on there as well, so they can come get that. But it's KAISIE DAILEY, and it has all the information, including like what is human design.
Okay. So somebody can read about it beforehand as well.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
All right, anything else as we wrap up?
That's it. Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate your graciousness and your time.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
I love interviewing all my friends. This is so much fun.
Right. Yeah.
All right. All of you listening, you are my friends as well. And thank you for listening. And please do come to the fair on April the 6th. You will have such a great time. Get there early around 10 o'clock and check out all the amazing service providers and vendors. Galveston Convention Center. We will see you there. Bye for now.